when I was a teenager and when I was a child, actually, I spent a lot of my childhood in back in the stacks in libraries with a huge pile of classic science fiction books
Mm.
because I discovered that something I enjoyed so much was reading about a totally different world and trying to
Yeah.
imagine that. And I decided as a teenager that I wanted to be a science fiction writer. And, adults said, "Oh, honey, that's a stupid dream. Don't do that." And of course, you needed a lot of institutional support back in the 80s and 90s to become a science fiction writer because
Mm.
we didn't have the internet the way we do now.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I became an engineer
Mm.
and I
That'll
worked.
show them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I worked on various things and various industries for many decades, but I just really never forgot that love of science fiction.
Mm.
And so when I decided that I was going to retire, it's like, okay, no one can tell I don't need money. Software engineering has been good to me.
Mm.
Also, having wives with professional salaries has been good to me.
Yeah.
So it's like I can do whatever I want. I can take risks. I can write books.
Yeah.
And the book is making money. And hopefully the others will too. So it's a gamble that paid off, but it was something that I had in the back of my mind throughout my life
Mm.
as something I wanted to do.
Very cool. And then that path to self-publishing, it seems to, well, like you said, it's a huge risk, but
Yeah,
seems to very much be paying off for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I personally, and this is going to make some people angry,
Mm.
Okay, I'm
and
ready.
it already has. I've been
Nice.
cussed out at conventions for saying this.
Mm.
One editor flat out called me a sociopath, I believe.
Hmm.
I said, I this is what I don't think that there is any benefit to I'm
Hey, if you're
sorry.
nervous, I'm nervous.
No,
I'm
no.
waiting. I'm waiting for.
Christine, our cat has decided Christine's hair is his new toy. Um, sorry.
So good.
I don't think that there is a benefit in having a traditional publisher for new authors today.
Mm.
Yeah.
You can hire an editor, you can hire a cover artist, and a lot of the traditional benefits of publishing houses has gone away. I
Yeah.
It's
mean,
true.
there used to be this mythical beast called an advance. As a new author, you will not see that.
Yeah.
There used to be a budget for publicity. Yeah, publishing houses still have publicity budgets, but that is going to Brandon Sanderson's book.
Yeah.
It is
Hmm.
not going to yours. It used to be that you really, really needed to to be able to leverage the relationship that trad pub houses have with bookstores
Mm.
to sell any books. Well, nowadays it's all Amazon,
Yeah.
and Amazon is going to be 70% of your sales,
Yeah.
and 70% of your Amazon sales are going to be Kindle ebooks. And so you can actually do this yourself. You're
Yeah.
going to have to do a lot of publicity,
Yep.
but if you're trad pub, you're still going to have to do a lot of publicity. So that's a wash.
But with
There's no
less of the
difference.
freedom.
The
Yeah.
difference is that if you are your own publisher, and that requires learning a lot of things about how to set up a book, and it's non-trivial. You have to go through that. But once you've gone through that, then you don't have somebody else taking a bite out of every sale you make.
Yep.
Or at least significantly less. You
Yeah.
know, Amazon
Yeah,
compared
well,
to a trad
and
pub.
vendors take a bite,
Yeah.
but if you have a publisher, vendors take a bite and then publishers take a bite of what's left.
Yeah.
I make about 4 to 5 times what traditionally published authors make per book sale.
Yeah,
At the
they
end of
have
the
to change something about their business, or I mean,
Yeah.
how much longer can they really keep doing this before they have to change? I mean,
Yeah, well, the needs of authors have changed.
Mm.
What publishers are able to offer to authors has changed. And the juice is, in my opinion, no longer worth the squeeze.
yeah.
Mm.
Now, if you're Brandon Sanderson and you have an existing relationship with Tor, or if you're Larry Correia and you have an existing relationship with Bain, and you already have this great big audience, then the math works out differently.
Yeah.
But for authors who are just trying to get noticed, TradPub will not help you.
Mm.
So the only real benefit, what they'll do is they'll publish your book. You'll be, somewhere spine out on the bottom shelf in the back of a bookstore that is mostly devoted to selling porn for women in the monster fucker genre. And they will
That's the
see
big
if you
money right
take
there.
off. And if you don't, they will dump you.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of benefit there. I understand that it's very scary to do all this yourself, but when you do all of it yourself, you have control and you can do things.
Yeah.
And all of the hard stuff associated with self-publishing, even if you have a publisher, you're going to have to do it anyway. They're
Yeah.
not
Mhm.
going to do it for you. They're not going to give you very much. So
Once
you
you get
might as
into it,
well retain control.
yeah. And the thing is, once you get into it, a lot of these skills are actually a lot of fun to learn. Book formatting it's actually a lot of fun when you do it yourself and then see that come out the other side printed exactly as you imagined it. Editing, learning the editing skills so you can work better with an editor.
Yeah,
Cover design, like we talked about, getting to
yeah,
see your
yeah,
dream come to life on the page.
yeah,
Yeah, it's I,
yeah.
I get it though. Coming out of
And
school, I was so nervous about taking on
oh
any of
yeah,
this
yeah.
myself.
It can be scary
Yeah.
to try to launch this whole enterprise on your own, but also there's once you get used to it, there's a lot of comfort in knowing that you won't be sunk by anybody else's screw up.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
You won't be sunk by anybody else's lack of passion for your project.
Yeah.
You know, anything that happens to you, it's on you, and therefore you can avoid it.
Yeah. Should be it that can be a big responsibility to handle,
Oh yeah.
but, it's fun.
Oh yeah.
Once
Oh yeah.
Well,
But
if
if you don't have a lot of courage, this is not the profession for you.
yeah. Yeah.
and
That's
also
accurate.
at this stage, if you mess something up, that's not the end of the world. You're still small potatoes.
Oh yeah.
You can
Yeah.
recover very, very quickly.
Yeah. And you're always going to make mistakes, and you're always going to have to learn from those mistakes.
Mm,
There are many, many things that I could have done differently earlier, but I had to learn to do them differently as I went on this journey.
yeah.
And that's just part of being an author. And it's okay because you don't have a publisher who is looking over your shoulder counting book sales to see if they should terminate your contract.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
have you have time.
Yeah.
Any book that you don't sell today, anyone who doesn't buy your book today because you didn't pitch it well enough or they've never heard of you, you can always sell it tomorrow. Books don't decay. They exist
Mhm.
forever. So if you put it out there and it takes you a long time to build an audience, then when you do, you can still sell that book.
Yep.
Because as authors, we are not in the book selling business. A lot of what we do, we get money by selling books, but that's not really the fundamental truth of the business we're in. What we fundamentally do is develop a relationship with an audience.
Mm, yep.
And an audience is a group of people where they trust you enough that if you put out a book and the cover is just blue, no picture, no back cover text, it's just got the title of the book and your name. If they'll buy your book, that's your audience.
Mm,
And it is that relationship that pays you over and over and over again and allows you to pay your bills and make a living doing your dream job.
yeah.
So, yes, you write books, but your financial success doesn't come from writing a great book. It comes from building a relationship with that audience. And writing good books is only one element of that. You can write a great book and be greeted by the sound of crickets when you publish it,
Yep.
only to have it take off years later when you have developed an audience.